Much, Corla, and can I at the outset beg your indulgence for one moment, please? As this is the first time I've spoken in the Chamber in a few days now, I wish to acknowledge in the House the passing of the former Labour Party Deputy for Louth, Michael Bell, who died last Friday. The late Michael Bell, as deputies will be aware, represented the constituency of Louth for the last 20 years, and I want to extend for 20 years, 1982 to 2002, and I want to express my deepest sympathies to his family, supporters, and to my constituents in Louth. I understand that arrangements will be made on a more formal basis to pay tributes to the late former Deputy Bell in the next few weeks, and look forward to that opportunity. I very much welcome in this instance the opportunity to speak on Finance Bill number 2. This is the most significant step taken to date to deal with the unemployment catastrophe, which is one of a series of rotten legacies bequeathed to us by the last administration. The provisions outlined in this bill are not, I hasten to add, a panacea for all our ills, but what they do represent is a very strong start for an administration which has by any objective measure done more for jobs and more for economic confidence in 2 months than the worst government in our short history managed to achieve in 2 years. We can look towards the future with a more positive attitude now. These are the words of Drogheda-based hotelier Martin McGowan in the Drogheda Independent newspaper this week. And he was speaking welcoming the slashing of VAT rates for hotels and other sectors of the economy, an element of the package announced this month which will have, in my opinion, an enormous positive impact on job creation and on job retention in an industry that has borne the brunt of the economic collapse. Of course, Corla, the package of investment in jobs needs to be paid for, and there are no easy options in this regard. The decision by the government to propose to introduce a small temporary levy on funded pension schemes of course has its critics, and I acknowledge some of the concerns that have been expressed around this issue. However, I take fundamental issue with the Eddie Hobbses of this world, who go relatively unchallenged on the airwaves of this nation, telling us all how the sky is going to fall in as a result of this very temporary and very necessary measure. We are, in my opinion, in a warlike situation. And in periods of war, in periods of national emergency, we are often required to do extraordinary things which might otherwise never have been countenanced. I prefer to view the small levy as an expression of social solidarity. Those who are out of work require the help of those who are working. An analogy could indeed be drawn in terms of the way the community rating system in private health insurance operates, a system to support or subsidise those who are ill and old or who require more serious and frequent healthcare interventions. In conclusion, Corla, I want to turn to the capital element of this bill. We will be investing as a government considerable sums in additional school works on the capital side and in additional roads and transportation projects. I've said it before in this House, I've said it through the media, and I'll say it again. I think we must, as a state, and as a matter of absolute urgency, ensure that the contractors who are benefiting from an injection of taxpayers' money remain, insofar as is possible, within this state. There's an enormous urgency to review the way in which public authorities in this state award public contracts. In my own constituency of Louth, and right across the border in particular, it's an all too common occurrence to see substantial contracts from public authorities being awarded to contractors from outside of this jurisdiction. We must, I think, as a matter of urgency, review this situation, and we must be smarter and much cannier and more intelligent in the way in which these situations are handled in the context of procurement requirements. And I would urge, and I know I understand and accept that it's outside of the framework of this particular bill, but we need, as a House and as a state, to address that very fundamental matter over the next few months as a matter of urgency, as I say.
Thank you, Deputy.